online haircut.
Welcome back to another episode of Avenues Podcast. We're back in the garage this week again. Kicking it off, unfortunately no guest this week. Shit didn't really work out in our favor. Gonna try again for next week until we can get a guest. We're gonna keep going and try. I think I really want to get back into that cycle of every other week. If we can do that, I think that would be very, very, very good for us. And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just kick it off this episode. Nothing else more to say for intro. This week we've had a few interesting stuff happen when it comes to news-related topics. The first thing that I have pulled up here is that in Vancouver there was a bunch of protests that took place, not just in Vancouver, nationwide, this week about the support of and against sexual orientation and gender identity in teaching. So the tension was rising between the two parties, and the police were minimizing like fights and all that stuff. But yeah, people were protesting for getting transgender orientation stuff and sexual orientation and gender identity for teaching. They wanted that, and then also the other way around, they wanted it to. There's other people there that wanted it to not be taught. And I'm gonna give my thoughts, and we're gonna give our thoughts and opinions on this. I think that it has no place for school. The purpose of school is to learn about educational things that aren't necessarily about the real world. I mean, I think when I say school, I think of academics over anything. I think of science, math, social studies, and then there's other classes that branch off into different subjects, and you can take classes like social justice is one. So I'm sure they're talking about this in social justice. I'm sure this is the type of thing that you talk about in social justice, and I think that that's great because that falls under that class category, and you're taking that class for a reason. Go and talk about this stuff. But should it be taught in schools? I think they don't mean it like that. I think they mean it as like, should sexual orientation and gender identity be taught in schools? I think they mean that as like preaching about it, information about it. I just don't really see that to be in schools. And also, I think a lot of it is bullshit in the sense of like, they give a message that I don't think they should be giving out to kids. I don't know why people would have to put that on kids. It doesn't really make sense to me. And I don't see it as appropriate. I think that's just really stupid. That's my thoughts on it. If you want to go be trans, go for it. Do you? But I don't think that it should be. They preach it. Like, I don't think it should be preached in schools. So that's my opinion on it. That's my take on it. I'll get it to Justin.
Okay, I gotta be very careful with what I say here. I'm like, Colin is just,
Dude, I don't give a fuck.
Fair enough,
yeah,
but I still gotta apply for university in the following month, so I'm not trying to keep my.
That what I've said has nothing to do with that.
I mean, shit, bro. They check everything, bro. Like,
they do, but they're not gonna give a fuck if I say that don't teach kids at school to be transgender. That's so stupid.
They're probably for the transgender.
Yeah, probably. But if you want to deny me access to your school because of an opinion that's very popular, then go ahead. But yeah, no, I don't think I'd want to be a part of your institution.
Justin, you have any
Okay, so yeah, okay. So before I say anything, I want to clarify. So this protest, right? They're protesting to have this in school, like mandated in all educational institutions. This has to be taught as part of curriculum for all grades and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So my next question is like, what years and what, like, is it going to be elementary school, high school? I mean, post-secondary is like not really an option. But like what
it
kind
can be.
of, I guess, right? But like I'm thinking like aren't government fund. Yeah, it's like a private institution you have to go to. Exactly. So in terms of government-funded schools, which is generally speaking primary schools or elementary schools and high schools, middle schools, whatever. Like we don't have middle school here really, but you're gonna dox us. Anyways, So that's like in the curriculum in these schools, but does it do you, I mean, did they specify which school or like what grades? So here's my opinion on it. I think that they shouldn't teach that in school, especially to a really young audience, like kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. I just think like first off, a lot of kids get more confused than they do get actual like help and like consultation from it. So like in my experience or just my opinion, I think it's like more negative than it is positive to that younger group who's more like I guess just like malleable and like more naive to the whole gender and sexuality and stuff. Because I know, like, for sure, when I was that age, I was not thinking about any of that, right? And to have that all dumped on you at such a young age is, like, really could, like, make you question your own sexuality. And I think that can be a difficult thing to deal with at such a young age. So I would say, yeah, if you're in the later years, I think that it's important to learn, I think, at some point so people can understand, even if you don't
It's a
identify
world
with that.
thing. It's a world
Yeah.
situation.
And it's things that everyone deals with nowadays. I mean, you go into any places and now they ask for your pronouns. That people ask about your sexuality like all the time, right? It's part of people's identity. So I think learning about it is in schools. I think if you keep it to the older grades, I have no problem with it. But if you're teaching this to like kindergarten kids, grade 1, grade 2, like
What's the point in that? Like,
yeah,
they don't need to know that shit.
don't confuse
They
them
don't
more,
need
right?
to. You don't need to teach kindergartens what pronouns you want to use, or what neo pronouns, or what. I don't know how many genders they think there are, but you know what I mean. Like that. Don't teach kids about shit that they don't even like are not gonna deal with for like so many years.
And they can't process that shit. Okay, but I'm gonna take like the other side here and take like what they would say against that. So I would think like in their perspective, teaching these kids this like sexuality stuff early on would be more beneficial to them because they have like a better grounds to like understand the other side or like whatever they identify with, if that makes sense.
Do you think that they should bring these topics up before like topics like sex education, where they like teach it in like 6th grade or so I don't know like what?
Oh yeah, not that young, but
Yeah, like I'm saying like like you're saying like primary school, whatever. Like,
yeah.
do you think it should come before or after those topics? 'Cause,
I
like,
think it should come.
I think it's in the same ballpark.
Good question. Yeah.
I think it should come together. I think in my school, like our years were kind of like, I mean, borderline. Like my school is pretty liberal, I would say, and like my elementary school at least, and like we learned about some of that stuff, like sexuality, but not in the same. Like we had sex ed or whatever, and they did it in like
elementary school.
yeah, in elementary
Ooh,
school. We had it
that's
in
weird.
like so we had these like it was like a workshop was what they called it, and so for the whole day they'd have these people come in and they'd separate like the guys and the girls for like a certain time, and they'd have like these small like discussion groups, and then they came in and this was crazy. Like they did it in like grade 3 was like the youngest grade they did, grade 3 or
What did
grade
they
4.
talk about?
They did grade 3, grade 4, and then like grade 7 or 6 or something. And we had like one sex ed course for the whole year. And parents had the choice to like opt their kid out of it if they like didn't want the kid to like be exposed to that and like go to the library or whatever. But yeah, that was like it was I don't know. I feel like learning about that at such a young age is like I don't know what
Okay, so
like
I have a funny story that connects with this because I remember I had a field trip to Science World when I was in the 6th grade, and there was an exhibit there that was talking about the sexual reproductive system and how how like being pregnant works and like all that like sexual shit, and like how not just about sex but like reproduction and all that. And it was so funny because my teacher and then the parents at the time, they didn't want us to like get in that section because it was right next door to what we were at, and there's no door in between. It's just an open walkway.
Yeah.
And so we were like walking in, and dude, my teacher was so mad because they were like, they didn't want us in there. Like, no, you can't see this. No, it's not appropriate. And as she was like, they had like a barricade. What is it called? Like a big wall.
barricade.
Yeah, not a barricade, but like it's like a barricade or something where they all like clinch their like arms together and make like a wall. All these parents that are volunteering are outside the exhibit of the sexual health and reproduction system exhibit, and they're all blocking the door or the doorway to make it so that we can't get in. and we're like talking to them and like trolling the fuck out of them, and then like one of our guys just like sneaks past, and then he's just like just reading the wall casually, and then she looks, he's like, how'd you get, I told you not to get in here, like you're not allowed to get in here. He's like, I'm just like reading on it. And then it's so funny because it's like, it's stupid, but it makes sense because it's like, we're kids, do we really need to know that stuff? And it ties in with the same sexual orientation, gender identity thing. It's like, do we really need to know that at a young age? I don't think so. I can kind of see why they blocked the sexual reproduction system section, because we weren't even there for that reason. So yeah, it doesn't really make sense to be there.
What age did you learn it? Did you guys have like sex ed in school? Like, did you?
Yeah, I had sex ed in high school. I think sex ed is very important because once you reach high school, why is the camera on him? So as I got into high school, they've been talking about sex ed, and with sex ed, it's like, I think it's important to learn about sex ed because you get to that age when you're in high school where that shit will matter to you and it will affect your health, and I think you have to take it seriously and be careful with what you're doing. So I think that it's, by it being taught in schools and by adults that know what they're talking about, that learn, and they get taught to how to teach this to kids, I think that's really valuable information for kids to receive as a teenager. And I think that it should be learned in high school of sex ed because it will teach kids how to be safe and not fuck up their health. So I think that's very valuable and very important to have in high school. So specifically, I don't really see any elementary school kids having sex, so it's kind of not really valuable to do that, in my opinion.
So then, back to the point. So do you think, like Cheyenne said, would you think this like transgender and like reaffirming surgeries and stuff, like, do you think that should be taught at the same time as sex ed, like before it, after it? What ages would you say it should be taught, if it should be taught at all?
Yeah, so that's all opinion based. You gotta understand this, is
Yeah.
because what you want to do with your body is totally up to you. Whether someone thinks that's stupid or not, it doesn't matter because it's your life. You can do what you want with your life. So why would a teacher need to tell you something that what other people are doing? That doesn't mean if you're trans that you're going to do what every other transgender person's going to do, or whatever other gay person's going to do. Everyone's different. It doesn't matter on their sexual identity, gender, whatever. So for them to be like educating people on what transgender people do is just not relevant to me, because just because a group of people are doing something doesn't mean you have to do it. So I think that it's just, I don't see a value in it. That's my answer to that question.
What would the education, like, what would they be teaching though in these like classes or workshops, or like what do you think they what are they fighting for? Like, what are they trying to get
I'm
taught?
pretty sure like this has been going on for a long time. But it's not been like protest about. They just want to get kids comfortable, and they just want to get kids to feel like they have support. In their eyes, they don't have support, but in my eyes, kids nowadays have full support of being a part of the LGBTQ community, which I think is great, but I don't think that they don't, like, they want to be teaching kids they just want to be giving them information about it, and like saying it's okay to be trans, and like here's what it's like to be trans, and here's what to do when you're trans, if you're trans, the way of thinking, whatever, how to deal with it. I don't see that as necessary. Like, you take your own path with it. I think like a lot of it is like stupid, like when it comes to their ideology. And this comes into opinion. They're bringing their opinion into teaching, which I don't care what the subject is. As a teacher, you don't bring your opinion into teaching as long as it's like, for like, obviously there's a boundary. Like if you want to give your opinion on a topic because you're doing a debate in class, that's different. But if you're in class and let's say you're a liberal teacher and you're talking about the Conservative Party, and you give your opinion saying, oh yeah, all conservatives, they just want to, legalize guns and all this. Like, I've heard, not that specifically, but I've heard that sort of thing happen. Like, it's the same thing. I don't think teachers should be giving their opinions on something that, like, if you're teaching facts. You're not teaching opinion. And so that goes the same with these transgender activists. A lot of their stuff is opinion based, which I don't think is good. You teach facts. So that goes along with it of like why I don't think that it should be taught.
Yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure, like, to my knowledge, the teachers have like some sort of contract they have to sign where it's like they're not supposed to say their opinion, like their political opinion, what party they choose, vote, whatever. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you have to keep it very neutral because obviously you have kids from both sides, people who are more conservative,
Yeah.
more liberal.
You have kids, even if some kid has like the stupidest radical opinion ever,
Yeah.
don't like, it's supposed to be a safe space. The classroom is supposed to be a safe environment for everyone's opinion to be valued, whether it's stupid or not. So, and also, stupid to me isn't stupid to you or him
Yeah.
or whoever else. So that's objective. You know what I mean? So I think that, yeah, that's stupid to think like that and do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everyone's got their own opinion on it. I mean, there's no really like right or wrong answer. I mean, everyone's gonna have their own opinion and like think about it differently. So
I have another question.
yeah.
So, because you said, what was it, Justin? You were like in your sex ed,
Mhm.
in elementary school, parents had the option to take their kids out
Yeah.
of that whole event. And would you guys do that to your kids? Number one, and then number two is like, do you think it's smart that those parents did that? Because imagine the kid coming back the next day in school not knowing that. Like let's say the parents not gonna tell them. Some parents might have told them early, whatever reason, right? Coming back to an environment where everybody else had a same experience towards something very crucial to growing up, and they have been held back from that. Do you think that's a smart idea, or how do you think that's gonna affect the children who were held back for this information?
Yeah. So in my class, I went to it, and this is crazy. Like now looking back, this is just weird to think about, because we were in like grade 3 or grade 4. Like that's pretty young.
What are they teaching though specifically?
I don't even like. I literally probably just about sex and like reproduction.
Okay,
and
well
stuff.
that's too stupid. Like you don't need to learn
In
that
grade
when
3
you're
or 4.
8.
So I mean, it's pretty like, and I don't know. I think it's weird to teach it that young. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's other like public schools that did that. Like you guys like definitely didn't get it that young, but at our school, yeah, we had the like talk that young. But in terms of the kids that missed out on it, I don't think like no one. I'm just trying to remember. Like I don't think many kids. So there's probably like 2 or 3. Like I'd say like maybe like 3 to 5 kids that like didn't go to the talk, and then like other than that, pretty much most of the class, the majority of the class was in the room at the time of the talk. And in terms of the kids that missed out, and honestly, like I can't say 'cause I like obviously didn't experience it like that, but I feel like no one really talked about it just 'cause it was weird, right? We're in like grade 4, so no one's gonna like be like talking about. I don't know. So I think everyone just kind of like moved past it. Like no one really brought it up as much. So I don't know. Maybe that was just my
Interesting.
year or my friends or whatever. But I feel like for the most part it was pretty like low key, other than the talk or whatever. So
So answer Cheyenne's question. If your kid was like, you asked, would you pull your kids from a sex talk in school? At elementary school, yeah. Dude,
In
my
grade-
kid,
yeah.
if my kid's in elementary school, like, there's no need for you to learn about sex. Why? Like, if you're in high school, yeah, 100%, because you're being exposed to that environment. Dude, I'm all for that, but not elementary school.
Of course, but I'm saying like the fact that they have to go back to an environment where
Where everyone has known about
Yeah.
it.
has no, and then
Okay.
misleading information
Yeah.
could get out to them.
Yeah, of
Right.
course, but
I
it's
was
like,
I was a victim of that.
yeah.
Because I mean I was in a different whole like
Yeah.
situation considering, but like that's how I think of it.
If my kid wants questions about it, they can talk to me one-on-one about it. But I'm not gonna get some Yahoo talking to a bunch of 8-year-olds about it for my
But
kid to know.
also though, like if you're a kid, like put yourself in their shoes. Do you think they're really gonna want to go up to you and start asking you questions? Like it's kind of weird.
That's
you know what I mean?
true, but
Like-
if my dude, like, if my kid cares enough, they'll talk to me about it. I mean, dude, I'm talking like I have a son or daughter. But it's like, no, yeah, you got a really good point there, and I think that like, they'll just have to hear it from their friends, and then they will find out eventually.
But then, like, again, then you get to Shannon's point of, like, oh, maybe you're getting the wrong information. Like, I do see the value in it, but I think really what needs to happen here, if you're doing that, like, sex talk at that young, is that the parents know what's being talked about, and they understand, like, what is being covered
specifically.
here. What are they talking about? So that they're not, like, left in the dark or their kids, like, overexposed. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, there's a boundary. But I do see the value in it. Yeah, 'cause then, like, in your eyes, it's like the kid that just gets left out is now, like, left in the dark and is kind of like.
No, yeah, that's a great point.
So I don't know. It's a tough situation.
Bro.
But
I see Cheyenne's really rusty. The camera.
yeah.
Hey guys. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, I got another topic. But yeah, I'll let you go 'cause I just went.
All right, so I'm gonna be talking about the Colorado versus Oregon University football game. It was a crazy game. So as you guys may know, Deion Sanders is now the head coach of Colorado, their football team, and
crazy score.
He's been going crazy. He's been talking a lot of shit online, being very confident, wearing like sunglasses and like press conferences and interviews and like I don't know, just showing off his personality and flair a lot during these interviews. And basically, I think Colorado they were like 2-0 or something, 3-0. I don't quote me on that, but they won their last 2 games, and they went to go play Oregon. And basically, before the game had started, the night before, all of the Colorado players went onto the field, the Oregon field, and were like stomping on the logo and like wiping their feet over the O and like just disrespecting the field and the organization, Oregon, whatever. And they basically said that they're gonna like whoop their ass and they'll stomp them, and like they said they'll win, right? And yeah, basically it was 42-6 for Oregon, and
couldn't even get 1 point. I guess they went for the 2. There's no way they missed that field goal.
No, they got 6, so they got like a touchdown, but yeah, they couldn't even get the conversion, which is like crazy. Yeah, maybe they went for 2, I don't know, but yeah, it was a blowout game, and I don't know, I just want to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think?
Karma has been given to everyone a part of that organization. For me, like, this really speaks volumes, because to me, disrespect has no place in the world, nor sports. Sports should be a friendly competition. I'm not saying it should be like some pussy shit, like play intense and play your heart out, but you got no reason to be disrespectful to one another. Obviously, if someone does something beforehand that triggers a reaction, that's a whole different story. But I don't think if you're playing sports, you should be mean to the other team. Don't start any shit. Don't be disrespectful. Play the game fair. Play the game, have fun, but don't fuck with other people. Don't talk shit. Don't do anything disrespectful. And this is what happens. This shit happens. These guys had it coming for them because they were being disrespectful. They're being rude. For whatever reason, they thought they were entitled or whatever. And this is what happens. So, fuck those guys. Good on Oregon. Oregon State, great football program. The Ducks, very, very successful. Their jerseys have been so clean this year.
Yeah.
So clean. Sick. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, like, karma's a bitch, bro. Like, you literally just got your ass handed to you. And especially after saying all that and doing those stunts.
Speaks volumes, yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. I mean, I like that Oregon won that game because it just shows, like, don't underestimate them. There was, like, I saw this interview, and it was with the Oregon coach, and he's like, this game's not played in Hollywood. He's like, we're going to play this on the grass. He's like, I don't give a shit what you think about what's going on there. Yeah. He's like, we're going to come in here and win this game. And, you know, they did just that. So, honestly, like, I think it's kind of cool to see that, like, all this stuff coming to fruition. And, like, I think it sells tickets, and, like, people get hyped about it because, oh, Deion Sanders is saying this. It's cool to see Deion Sanders being a coach. I think he's he's a great athlete. And I think it's just cool to see him. But I think ESPN. I mean, you should have seen like my homepage on Instagram. I got back from my game today, was checking Instagram or whatever, and like everything was like Oregon, Colorado. Like it was just blowing up, which is like couldn't get away from it. But yeah, honestly, I think it was a great game. So cool to see for sure.
Okay, on my topic. Let's check time.
Let's check time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pop this out. Recent law passed in China this week where they are going to ban like all iPhones, which I don't know what this entails exactly. But it's like on all government use of iPhones. Like, I don't think it's citizens. I think it's just government. Why? I mean, they make it. Yes, it's an American company, iPhone. Maybe they all want to have Huawei's. I don't know, but really weird that it's been in fruition. Like, why would the government of China say we're not going to use iPhones and only Android? To me, that's just like, there's got to be a specific reason to iPhone. I mean, I don't like iPhone. I don't have iPhone, but I'm not going to ban my whole like country from using it. You know what I mean? So there must be a specific reason. I know they don't like America. Maybe that's why, but I just thought this was really weird. Like, can you guys think of any reason as to why they do this? Because they haven't said why.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird. Maybe they just don't want to back like an American brand, as big as Apple, like a
Huawei.
whole conglomerate. But yeah, it's weird. Then they're backing like Huawei, which is
Well,
like
Huawei makes sense because they're Chinese.
yeah. So I guess like they want, I don't know, more like patriotism or something. Like I
Yeah,
don't know,
maybe.
like right. But like other than that, I can't really see like I don't think Apple itself. I mean, like you heard the shit about whatever, like they're gonna like siphon your information and steal it, but not like I don't think
What,
that's
iPhone?
Apple specifically, right? That's just like, but there has been in the past. That's like Facebook and Instagram and shit, right? That they like take and sell your information, but I don't think Apple itself, like by just producing the products themselves.
Like the communist, they want like keep a balance or whatever, like like the whole communist idea.
Which would connect to Huawei.
Yeah, well, I guess yeah, but like they're trying to like because iPhone is like kind of expensive, so it puts like a
Consumer-based
yeah,
type of,
like,
yeah.
It puts like like rich people can afford it.
Like all capitalist money type shit.
I kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I guess China's doing the island assignment that we did last.
Yeah, okay. I don't think they're doing yours,
Yeah.
but
That would be a great idea.
no iPhones on your island?
No other things on the island.
Mm. Yeah, unfortunate. Okay, now we have cover drop. Last segment of today. The new Nike Air Force One Molten Metal is coming out pretty soon. The Nike includes a metal swoosh on their latest Air Force One. So, on the stripe part, it's metal instead of normal, whatever material they use, leather or whatever. So it's just covered in metal, like on the outsides and shit. So, small design feature that's different, but unique and quite impactful for the shoe. I'm going to say drop just because it's just like, why? I don't know. I just don't really care for it. It's not ugly. I don't think it's ugly. I think it's kind of cool, I guess, but it's just like I'm not interested. So,
Is that like so it's real metal?
yeah, and it's gonna come out soon.
That's kind of
Nike
cool.
hasn't released it. It's a cool thing, but like, yeah, I'm gonna say drop. Just not interested. Nothing against it or whatever, but yeah, just drop for me.
Okay, I would say drop just be okay. Like, I actually like the design. I think they're pretty nice. But the one thing that I don't like is when the metal like swoosh is only on the outside, like
Yeah, that's
lateral
true.
side, and not on the inside. Like I don't know. I kind of hate when they
That's
do that shit.
weird.
It's like,
Yeah,
cause that looks so dumb, right?
Yeah.
So you see from the one side, okay, it's not bad, and then you see from the other side, and it's just like
it's
normal.
yeah, it is dumb. Yeah.
I don't know. I think like just do it on both sides, and then it would be like
Yeah.
complete. Like it almost looks like half done, which is like why
Yeah,
I
facts.
wouldn't cop. So I'd say draw for that one just because I think it. I don't know. Looks like incomplete for some reason.
Facts. We got another one here. Air Jordan 1 Retro Low OG Black Toe.
Black toes are classic. I'd say cop. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it's Jordan 1, pretty simple. Good to go. Bread toe. What do you need? What do you know?
Yeah, I'd say cop because I could put something together that would make this cool and
Yeah.
look good with other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck it, we'll do one more. We'll do a stupid one. Crocs football cleats. Get the Crocs. What is this called? Like the thing that
It's
goes
like the heel tab or something.
the heel
right?
tab.
Yeah.
With the Crocs, the crocodile on the side, with holes in the front, and no laces.
I mean,
Cop.
it's obviously a concept, but like it's actually it's
Of
pretty
course.
cool. Like it's actually like it looks.
It's cool, but I think it's dumb how they have that and the holes. It's football cleats. You don't need that. It's just too much. So I'd say drop.
The back, like that photo there, actually looks really cool because you see the like.
Yeah, but it's
piece
like in
come
the
up.
way.
Like I'm talking like the bottom piece from like the sole plate.
Oh
Comes
yeah,
up.
yeah.
I think they're pretty cool. I wouldn't like obviously I wouldn't wear them. I mean obviously the concept, but like they're pretty cool. Like just as like to look at, to have, whatever, collector's item perhaps. But I think they're pretty cool. I'd say cop just for that reason, but not like
You don't play with them.
game worn. Like definitely not, but
Mm.
definitely a cool boot. So yeah.
All right. That is it for this episode of Avenues Podcast. We'll try to get a guest for next week. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we can bring some new faces on the show. And yeah, it's been too long. So if you want to come on the podcast, let us know via Instagram. We'll talk to you about it. We'll go from there. Because we just haven't had anybody really. But we'll try to get a guest for you guys next week. And yeah, I guess that's all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.